Hi guys, so Eddie Mair from LBC interviewed a member of the Labour Party. Now this Labour member is on the fence on whether he's going to stay in the party or not. He's not very happy with Keir Starmer, the leader, saying that, well, he doesn't really have any policies at the moment. Now, I'll get back to that in a moment, but let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I've been a member of the Labour Party, voted Labour all my life. And at this moment in time, I'm considering leaving the Labour Party because, personally, I don't know what Keir Starmer stands for. I'll wait till he sets out the policies and then I'll decide whether I'm going to actually stay in the Labour Party.
So he's going to wait until Keir Starmer has laid out policies and then he'll decide whether he'll stay in the party or not. Now, why is Keir Starmer not rolling out policies at the moment? I think there are two reasons for this. The first reason is it's too early. If you, for example, if Keir Starmer rolls out some amazing policy, we're going to invest X amount of money in something, there's a risk that in a couple of years' time, because the next election is due to be held in 2024, it's a long time away, it could, Boris Johnson could bring it forward, or whoever's the leader of the Conservative Party could bring it forward, but it's probably scheduled for 2024. But 2024 is a long time away, and the Labour Party could roll out some policy, invest in X. The Conservative Party between now and then invest more in X, throw money at X, and that would render the Labour policy obsolete, and it would be used as a cudgel against the Labour Party. Oh, look at, you had this policy, we did better than you, what's the point in voting for you? So there's that risk. There's also the risk that, why he's not doing it is maybe he doesn't have any policies. And that's more concerning. I think it's probably the former and not the latter. I think he's waiting for the right time to roll out the policies. I hope that's the case. I really hope it's not the case that the Labour Party don't have any policies. But I think it's important not to roll out specific policies. I think even at this stage, I think you can roll out something, but it has to be very high level. It has to be, and I hate to say this, almost Dominic Cummings focus group sloganized, in the sense that it has to be something like save the NHS or invest in the NHS, some 3-word slogan, invest in health or something like that, save our schools or something like that. But it has to be very high level. It can't be something specific like we're going to spend this amount of money on this this field or this area of the economy. Bring back jobs or something like that. It has to be something catchy. You have to use the sort of get Brexit done mentality. Unfortunately, and this goes against my own interests, I think we're now in an era where people vote according to slogans. People vote according to style. Keir Starmer has the style, but he doesn't have the slogans. I think if you took somebody from another country who's never been to the UK and knows nothing about UK politics and held up Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer and asked them, who do you think is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? I think we'd all know the answer to that. So Keir Starmer is able to present himself in a much better way, but he needs some sort of policy. He needs something to get people motivated to come out and vote. Now, you also have to remember that even though the general election is probably going to take place in 2024, there are other elections between now and then. There are council elections, by-elections. So it's important that the Labour Party have something that they can present to the public. I still think it should be something very high level. If a journalist asks for more detail, you can say, look, it's going to be part of our manifesto, but this is what we feel, this is what we want the country to be in the future. Something quite vague, and it's not to lie, but it's to have a high-level idea, because at the moment you can't implement policies, so there's no point really talking about them, and we're too far away from a general election to have any specific policies. But let's continue.
But from what I've seen so far, I don't hold out much hope. I think Keir will be a hard sell on the doorstep. I really do.
Why?
Well, what does he stand for? You know what I mean? We've got the worst possible Prime Minister at the worst possible time, and the Tories are ahead in the polls. So, you know what I mean?
I agree with that. What does he stand for? We don't know what he stands for. He needs to stand for something, and it can't be just, I'm not Boris Johnson. Because Boris Johnson may be replaced soon, and you can't be the anti-Boris Johnson candidate. You need to present yourself as something. Now, I think, and people may disagree with me, but I believe that Keir Starmer should be much more aggressive in Parliament. He should show his human side. He should become angry. But the anger must be well placed. It must be, I'm angry because people have died. I'm angry because people are out of jobs. They can't get into work. And I think some of the stories that he's brought up in Parliament about, a single mother or a person who's lost their job, or he could even maybe name them with their first name. He doesn't have to use their full name, their name and surname, but just the first name. To give this sort of connection, I think this approach is useful. And most of all, I think he needs to get out and meet people. People don't know him. He needs to get down to the places that are suffering now because of Brexit. He has to start talking about Brexit as well. He has to be asking for solutions and saying, if you don't have solutions, then I will have solutions. Challenge Boris Johnson to solve these problems. Of course, Boris Johnson will not. But he said, I'm ready to solve these problems. But he needs to go and meet with the fishermen, with these business owners, with individuals who are suffering, people who have lost their job because of Brexit, their company has downsized, people who are, being forced to move abroad. Speak with them, connect with them, show that you're on their side. Promote this. I don't know if it's possible in Parliament. It would be amazing, I think, if Keir Starmer could put up on a big screen a question from a constituent directly at Boris Johnson and said, Boris Johnson, answer that person's question. That person is asking, what are you doing to help me save my job? What are you doing to fix these problems at the ports? And Boris Johnson can't criticize Keir Starmer in that situation. And Keir Starmer, and I don't mean this in a cynical way, but he can use that as a way to attack Boris Johnson in Parliament. I don't know if that's possible, but it would be a useful tool if he could use it.
I think he needs to attack the Tories more on many things. I think he needs to really take the fight to the Tories. I think Tony Blair had charisma and he could engage with the public, and he took them along with him. And from what I've seen so far, I think Keir will struggle to get people to follow him.
I don't think it's a good idea comparing him with Tony Blair, because that was a different era. That was a time when there was respect, where the Prime Minister or the opposition, where the Prime Minister would answer questions. It wasn't just a position it just wasn't a moment for the Prime Minister to grandstand. There was actually a level of respect in Parliament that doesn't exist anymore. So I think using the Tony Blair model probably isn't the best approach. He needs to create a new model. If he tries to emulate something from the past, I don't think it's going to work. He can pick and choose things from the past that maybe he thinks were beneficial, or are beneficial, but I don't think that's the correct approach on the whole. He needs to create his own narrative, he needs to create his own persona, and he needs to go forward with that. But I agree that they need to attack the Tories more. They need to show a human side, become aggressive if necessary in Parliament. What has he to lose? It's better that people are talking about him, even if it's in a negative way, than not talking about him at all. And I think at the moment, very few people are actually talking about him. Let me know in the comments section, guys, what you think about Keir Starmer and what you think he should be doing. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?